You're thinking about fostering children, but you're scared or worried about what the effects will be on your birth children. If that's you, then watch this video and hopefully it will help you. Hello, my name's Elspeth and this is Fostering and Faith. And today we're going to talk about something that's really tough, and that's the effects of fostering on your birth children. So basically, is there a cost? Absolutely, there's a cost. So I'm going to talk about the negative bits, the challenges that we face as parents of birth children in a foster family. Then I'm going to cover the benefits of being a foster family and the benefits to the birth children. And then I've got a fix it section of things you can do to build strength and resilience and relationship with your birth children. And hopefully you'll find this helpful. So the first thing that's a challenge with being a foster family for your birth children is sharing you as a parent. You know, your birth kids have to share you with 1, 2, 3, however many foster children you're having. And that's, no matter which way you cut it, is really difficult. And especially around times where they want to talk to you. So I have 2 birth children that are girls and they like talking in the evening. And typically that's quite a difficult time for foster children when they're having some big feelings, big behaviours, and a lot of my time can be diverted to the foster children. So they might feel it, they get left out. And that's why you have to work as a family unit. For example, in our family, I've got my husband, and we sort of divide and conquer. So we'll do half children each, and sometimes we'll swap around depending on what's going on, so that some of the time our birth children will get me, and some of the time they'll get Matt. The second thing that can be a bit of a challenge, and I'm still learning about it really, is I was concerned about the types of behaviours and emotions that you're inviting into your house, really. So there can be screaming, shouting, some weird and wonderful behaviours, and I wondered whether my children might copy that, in which case you have to sort of nip that in the bud and explain why. And also explain to your birth children why a foster child might be doing certain things, and that's really important. Maybe what has happened to a foster child, or the circumstances they've come from, or why they're exhibiting a certain type of behaviour or talking in a certain way. I have to explain that in a child-friendly manner, and I think that really helps once they grasp it, because then they actually become agents of change themselves, your birth children. They try and help the foster child as well. So you're actually training your birth children to help be foster family, and we help heal as a whole family rather than just myself and my husband. And the third challenge, and I've only picked 3 here, there are many challenges, but for today the third challenge is the different parenting styles that you have to use to manage certain behaviours. So for example, with my birth children, if they've been a bit naughty, they've not done a task I've asked them to do repeatedly, I might give a punitive measure. Like, I dock you £1 from your pocket money if you don't do this thing. But generally in fostering, we don't do punitive measures. We don't take away anything from the foster child because they've lost so much already. And you can do restorative actions. So if the foster child's broken something, you can say, well, you've broken this, so maybe you can use some of your pocket money to help pay for a new thing that you've broken. For example, with foster children, it's not necessarily softly therapeutic all the time. I mean, everything we do is therapeutic. But some people might think or have an appearance that it's all very fluffy, but actually it can be quite rigid. So boundaries is a really important thing. And we might hold a boundary very strongly, like, you know, if you go to the toilet, you have to do this thing before we do the next thing. I wouldn't need to do that with my birth children because they'll do it naturally, because they've learned how to do it. But with a foster child, there may be an issue there. And you have to hold a boundary so that they learn to trust you as the parent and also do it correctly and keep them safe. So again, you have to balance the normal parenting with a therapeutic parenting with a bit of hybrid in the middle parenting, and you will find your own way. I don't think there's any one right way. but you get lots of training along the way. You can go one way, you can treat everyone the same, or you can do what we do, which is a hybrid. So sometimes we treat them the same for some things, but there might be specialised areas for the birth children or the foster children, depending on what's happened. So to the benefits. If you read the fostering websites, they may say things like your birth children can learn social skills and make friends, learning to share, learning different cultures and things like that. But for me, it's the deeper, really important things that matter. Things like resilience and real gritty love. And a good story that demonstrates this was we went through with one of our children some very difficult behaviours, particularly directed at my youngest child. And so as a mother, I felt awful, let alone what I thought my child was feeling. And what really shocked me was that after this particular one bad episode towards my youngest child, I thought she was going to come to me and say, "Mum, we can't foster anymore. This is absolutely awful. How dare you do this to me?" But instead of doing that, she went back to the child and said, "Well, tell me how I can be a better foster sister." I was blown away by that. And that really demonstrates a level of resilience and a level of love of the child that I can even expect or understand in my own child. And that's so encouraging. And does it change them for bad or good? I think it definitely changes them for good. Yes, we have difficult times. Yes, we've had periods where they've been worried or anxious, and I've had to work through that with them, but they've come out the other side stronger. And I know several people personally, and I know there's more out there, of where they're adults now, but they've grown up as birth children in foster families, and they themselves are now in the social care system working as social workers or family support workers. And that's amazing and a great testament that it hasn't put them off, but they've seen the need, which is great. And I'm really encouraged by those stories. And lastly, I said that there would be like a fix it section as more like a kind of strengthening section for your birth children. So I've previously mentioned the thing about bedtimes. I think that's really important, that if there's one of you, that's really tough because you have to spread yourself out very thinly between foster children and birth children. If there's two of you, that's a bit easier because you can swap around to give that birth child some one-on-one time. But if you can build that in, even if it's just 3 or 4 minutes of direct, just listening to them, whatever they want to talk about, whatever they want a game they want to play, that will be so invaluable for them. The second thing is building time for what we call them dates. So we block in periods of time on a specific day to do an activity that they want to do, and it's just one-on-one. So me and one of my daughters, or my husband and one of the daughters, so that they just have that time and space. They know it's coming up and they always look forward to it. So I think doing that really helps trust and build communication between you two. And the third thing is, I would have an open communication policy with your birth children, so that you do tell them more things than you might normally, but not enough, like all the information, but enough to build trust and enough for them to help the foster child themselves, so that they can understand the background that they're coming from. And then they feel trusted. So you strengthen your bond with your birth child. So thank you so much for listening to Fostering in Faith, and I hope this video has been of use to you. And a shorts video will be coming out soon. Thanks. Bye. God bless.